Look around you, whether it's the glow of a desk lamp, the flicker of a streetlight, or the soft hum of a bulb in your home. The light bulb is everywhere, so familiar we barely notice it. Yet this small glass orb sparked a revolution that banished darkness, reshaped cities, and illuminated human potential. Welcome to Small Thing, Big Change. I'm Robert, and today we're diving into the story of the light bulb, a tiny invention that lit up the world. From smoky gas lamps to starlit factories, from inventors' workshops to global movements for sustainability, the light bulb's journey is one of brilliance, struggle, and transformation. Let's flip the switch and explore how this small thing changed everything. Segment 1. Before the light bulb, living in shadows. In the early 1800s, life was governed by the sun. As dusk fell, the world dimmed, and people relied on flickering, unreliable light sources. Candles, made from tallow or beeswax, were the mainstay for most households. They were smoky, smelly, and burned out quickly, often within hours. Wealthy families could afford beeswax candles, which burned cleaner, but for the working class, tallow candles filled homes with soot and the stench of animal fat. A single candle provided barely enough light to read by, and fire hazards were constant. House fires from tipped candles were a grim reality, claiming lives and homes. Gas lamps, introduced in cities by the 1820s, offered a brighter alternative but came with their own dangers. Fueled by coal gas, they emitted toxic fumes, blackened ceilings, and required complex piping systems that only wealthy homes and urban streets could afford. Gas leaks caused explosions, and the open flames posed risks in factories crammed with flammable materials. Rural areas, far from gas lines, remained dependent on candles or oil lamps, which used whale oil or kerosene. Whale oil was expensive, driving the whaling industry to near collapse, while kerosene lamps, though cheaper, were notorious for fires. By the 1870s, they caused thousands of deaths annually in the U.S. alone. This lack of reliable light shaped society profoundly. Nighttime was a barrier to productivity. Factories shut down at dusk, limiting work hours. Education was constrained. Children in rural schools struggled to study by dim candlelight, and literacy rates suffered. Social life revolved around daylight, with evening gatherings reserved for the elite who could afford ample lighting. Even art and culture were affected. Painters worked by day to capture light, and theaters relied on hazardous gas chandeliers. The world yearned for a light source that was safe, affordable, and universal. Early experiments with electricity, like Humphrey Davy's 1802 arc lamp, showed promise but were impractical. Arc lamps were blindingly bright, expensive, and required constant maintenance. Inventors knew electricity could be the key, but harnessing it into a practical, scalable device was a puzzle that would take decades to solve. The stage was set for a small invention that would illuminate not just rooms, but entire societies. Segment 2. The birth of the light bulb. The light bulb story is one of collective genius, not a single eureka moment. While Thomas Edison is often credited as its inventor, the truth is more complex. In the 1840s, inventors like Frederick de Moulins in England patented early incandescent bulbs, using platinum filaments that glowed when heated by electricity. These prototypes were promising but flawed. Platinum was costly, and the bulbs burned out quickly. By the 1860s, dozens of inventors across Europe and America were racing to create a practical incandescent bulb, experimenting with filaments like carbonized bamboo, cotton, and even hair. Enter Thomas Edison. In 1878, at his Menlo Park laboratory in New Jersey, Edison set out to solve the light bulb puzzle. His goal wasn't just to make a bulb that glowed, but one that was affordable, long-lasting, and commercially viable. Edison's team tested thousands of materials, legend has it, over 6,000, for the perfect filament. In 1879, they landed on a carbonized cotton thread that glowed for 14.5 hours, a breakthrough that captured the world's attention. Edison didn't invent the light bulb from scratch, but he refined it, creating a practical design with a high-vacuum glass bulb and a reliable filament. The technical challenges were immense. Early bulbs required a near-perfect vacuum to prevent filaments from burning out, which meant developing new glass-blowing techniques and vacuum pumps. Powering the bulbs was another hurdle. Edison's team built the first commercial power plant in 1882 in London and New York, delivering electricity to homes and businesses. This wasn't just about a bulb, it was about creating an entire electrical ecosystem. Edison's competitors, like Joseph Swan in England, also made significant contributions. Swan's bulbs, using carbonized paper filaments, lit up homes in 1881, and he later partnered with Edison to form the Edison and Swan United Electric Company. Other innovators, like Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse, advanced alternating current (AC) systems, making electricity distribution more efficient and paving the way for widespread bulb adoption. Manufacturing light bulbs was a feat of industrial precision. Factories in the US and Europe employed skilled glassblowers and machinists to produce bulbs at scale, but early production was costly. By the 1890s, bulbs cost about 50 cents each, equivalent to $15 today, making them a luxury. Yet Edison's marketing genius, from public demonstrations to glowing newspaper headlines, turned the light bulb into a symbol of progress. The light bulb wasn't just a device. It was a spark that ignited the electrical age, transforming how humanity lived and worked. Segment 3. The Light Bulb's Golden Age. By the early 20th century, the light bulb was reshaping the world. Cities like New York and London became beacons of light, with electric streetlights replacing gas lamps by the 1900s. Factories adopted bulbs, extending work hours into the night and boosting productivity. The 1910 introduction of tungsten filaments, pioneered by William Coolidge at General Electric, made bulbs brighter, longer-lasting, and more affordable, dropping prices to mere pennies by the 1920s. This democratization of light transformed daily life. In homes, light bulbs extended evenings. Families could read, sew, or socialize after dark without the hazards of candles or gas. Education flourished. Students in rural areas, newly wired with electricity, studied longer, boosting literacy rates. By 1930, 70% of U.S. households had electricity, up from just 10% in 1900, largely driven by the light bulb's allure. Schools, libraries, and community centers became hubs of learning, illuminated by the steady glow of incandescent bulbs. The light bulb also revolutionized culture. Theaters and cinemas, lit by powerful electric lights, became accessible to the masses, giving rise to the golden age of Hollywood. Department stores used dazzling bulb displays to attract shoppers, fueling consumerism. Architects embraced electric lighting, designing buildings with light as a central feature. Think of the glowing chandeliers in grand hotels or the illuminated skyscrapers of the 1920s. Industry felt the light bulb's impact, too. Factories ran multiple shifts, increasing output and transforming economies. But this came at a cost. Workers faced grueling hours, and child labor persisted in bulb factories, where glassblowing and filament assembly were dangerous tasks. The environmental toll was also emerging. Coal-powered plants supplying electricity belched pollution, a trade-off for progress. The light bulb's cultural symbolism was profound. It became a metaphor for ideas and innovation, immortalized in cartoons with a bulb lighting up over someone's head. Yet access wasn't universal. Rural areas and developing nations lagged behind, relying on kerosene well into the 20th century. The light bulb was a beacon of modernity, but it also highlighted inequalities, setting the stage for its next chapter. Segment 4. The Light Bulb in Crisis and Creativity. The light bulb's true power shone in times of crisis. During World War I, portable electric lamps powered by early batteries lit up trenches and field hospitals, allowing medics to operate at night. In World War II, blackouts in cities like London and Berlin forced innovation. Low-wattage bulbs and shielded fixtures balanced safety with visibility. Factories producing war materials ran 24/7 under electric light, powering the Allied victory. In POW camps, prisoners crafted makeshift bulbs from scavenged materials, using the faint glow to maintain morale or plan escapes. The light bulb also fueled creativity. Artists like Man Ray experimented with light in photography, using bulbs to create surreal effects in the 1920s. In the 1960s, pop artists like Andy Warhol incorporated light bulbs into installations, celebrating their cultural ubiquity. In music, the electric light enabled late-night recording sessions, shaping genres like jazz and rock. The 1969 Woodstock Festival, lit by thousands of bulbs, became a cultural milestone, showcasing how light amplified human expression. In humanitarian contexts, the light bulb was a lifeline. In the 1940s, refugee camps in Europe used portable electric lamps to provide safety and comfort at night. After the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, aid organizations distributed solar-powered bulbs to devastated regions, allowing families to rebuild under light. These efforts highlighted the bulb's role in restoring dignity and security in crises. But the light bulb's dominance wasn't without flaws. Incandescent bulbs were inefficient, converting only 10% of energy into light, with the rest lost as heat. By the mid-20th century, their environmental impact was undeniable. Coal plants powering bulbs contributed to air pollution and climate change. Labor issues persisted, too, with bulb factories in developing nations often relying on exploitative conditions. The light bulb's brilliance came with shadows, prompting a search for better alternatives. Segment 5. The light bulb's modern legacy and future. Today, the light bulb is at a crossroads. Incandescent bulbs, once ubiquitous, are being phased out globally due to inefficiency. The European Union banned them in 2012, and the U.S. followed with restrictions by 2020, pushing consumers toward compact fluorescent lamps, CFLs, and light-emitting diodes, LEDs. LEDs, pioneered in the 1960s and commercialized in the 1990s by scientists like Shuji Nakamura, use 80% less energy and last up to 25 years, revolutionizing lighting once again. LEDs have transformed the light bulb's legacy. Smart bulbs, controllable via apps or voice assistants like Alexa, adjust color and brightness, blending technology with design. In developing nations, solar-powered LEDs distributed by NGOs like SolarAid illuminate homes without electricity, boosting education and safety. In 2023, over 1 billion LEDs were installed globally, reducing carbon emissions by millions of tons annually. Yet challenges remain. LEDs require rare earth metals like gallium, raising concerns about mining's environmental toll. Recycling is another hurdle. Unlike simple incandescent bulbs, LEDs contain complex electronics that are hard to process. Manufacturers are exploring biodegradable materials and modular designs to address these issues, ensuring the light bulb's future is sustainable. Culturally, the light bulb remains a symbol of innovation. Artists use LEDs in immersive installations, like Yayoi Kusuma's Infinity Rooms, while cities like Dubai create LED-lit skyscrapers that redefine urban aesthetics. In space exploration, NASA uses specialized LEDs to grow plants on the International Space Station, proving the bulb's versatility beyond Earth. The light bulb's legacy is its ability to evolve. From Edison's filament to modern LEDs, it has illuminated progress while adapting to new demands. As we face a future of climate change and technological leaps, the light bulb continues to shine, proving that small inventions can light the way for humanity. Closing, a light that never fades. As we dim the lights on this story, let's marvel at the light bulb's brilliant legacy. This small glass orb banished darkness, fueled creativity, and illuminated our shared journey. It's a reminder that the smallest sparks can ignite the greatest changes. This is Small Thing, Big Change, and I'm Robert. If the light bulb story inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share in the comments. What's another everyday object you'd love us to explore? A clock, a key, a spoon? Until next time, keep shining your light on the world.